Going on, guys?
Hey, Nick.
Morning, Nick.
Hey, hi, Nick.
How's it going, Colin?
Oh,
Dog butt.
Hey guys.
What's up, Bart?
Good morning.
hey.
Good morning or afternoon.
One more minute of morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Quick, get those reps in.
All right. Surge is slowing up a little bit. Um, Notice that earlier in the week, it's lighter on the form submissions, which makes sense. People haven't had a week to get the workouts in. But I shifted left to accommodate Jen's schedule and then as well as AJ's book club. So everybody's got room this week.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I can't believe you won't pull out one of our combines, Nick.
Well,
That's a great picture of you pulling the truck.
that may very well be the last time I do any sort of truck pull on dirt. That's for sure. That
Oof.
was the first one there were some hiccups. The water truck goes around and waters a track down in between events and they did it a little too heavy. So my traction was even more limited. And then where the four-wheelers go in between monster truck heats, there was a big rut, like 4 inches deep from them taking the corner. And they set the back tires of the monster truck in that. So I had to pull it up over the rut hump. And I just didn't have the traction. I was very limited on how much power I could actually get into the pool because the it was mud basically on that first pull.
You need spikes on your shoes. You know those studs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had brought cleats. The problem was there's
Cleats.
a
Yeah.
hard pack underneath the mud,
Mm.
Oh,
and the cleats don't bite in that. So it was just the second show we got right. It broke. I mean, a 13,000 pound truck's not on the heavier side of a pull. Um, I've done over around 20 ton. So
Oh,
literally,
of course you have.
you know,
hey, so you'll have fun
it was a fun time. Yeah. Yeah, the
and you
especially the second one because they put me at the start of the show versus the intermission so I could just sit back and watch after I was done and enjoy the
man,
show
that's
versus
good.
having to
Good.
warm up the first half of the show and get ready and um it was just much better, but it was fun. They want me to. We were loosely talking about doing it on asphalt at a different one of their shows and hooking two trucks together. So I pulled two monster trucks. Um, but I'm gonna want a little more thought out because I will not. I just will not pull on dirt. That was a really frustrating. Um, I mean, pulling a sled on dirt's hard, much less a truck. So it was fun though. It is another implement I can check off, the strongman toy list, if you will. I've gotten to do helicopters, airplanes, semis, dump trucks, now monster trucks. So I'll see whatever if another opportunity comes up for a cool piece of equipment for the first time, I won't say no, but it definitely I don't want to do it on dirt again. There's one video where I slip trying to get it to break um, because of the soft mud from the water truck I had left behind. But it was the crowd got into it, and like I was pulling on it that first go around for probably a good 90 seconds, and I noticed it rock up and then it'd pull me back. So I'm like the back wheels are there's something causing this thing to not be able to roll. And that's when we realized the rear wheels were in a rut from the four wheelers. And it was probably 4 inches deep. So I had to take that wheel, get up and over, and I just didn't have the foothold with the dirt and the mud to really input the way I would have needed to break it. But they literally moved it a foot forward, and it was off to the races immediately. So it was just I had a very big moment of like my heart was in my throat. So I'm like, there's no way I pulled this 3 times in testing the day before, and now's when it all goes wrong in front of, people that know me, home crowd. I was just like, no, absolutely not. And I was like, pull this thing up a foot. We're hung up on something and get me out of this mud. And they did, and it was fine. But, you know, learning experiences. Thorin had some questions. Dumbbell rows. Hey guys, if anyone here wouldn't mind passing on a couple questions for me, I'd really appreciate it. For dumbbell rows, how would you recommend progressing them? Heavy dumbbells are too light now. Tried using a hammer curl bar, but it felt awkward. I could load it more. For rollouts, I've substituted them with cable crunches because with the cable, I got to do so many reps. Is that a reasonable substitution? Thanks in advance. Can't wait to catch up on this. Okay, so I'll answer them when I get to. I'm going to take a picture of the question, actually. So when I get to Thorin's videos, I can answer them. With that being said, we can get over into these form checks.
Did the Nashville thing get greenlit yet, or?
I haven't heard. We had a team meeting yesterday about a bunch of stuff with the app, the AI, bunch of stuff that just, if I'm being honest, went over my head. And then Adam had to go about 20 minutes in, and I think Ketch and him will be talking about that today, tomorrow, this week for sure. So that's when we'll know exactly what to expect with the Nashville stuff. All right. Bart with deadlift, it looks like.
Yeah, another superset, but the stuff I want to ask was the dumbbell incline.
These look great though. Yeah, these are really good.
Yeah, about the deadlift, I possibly go too heavy because on it was on the last set I couldn't pick that weight even once. I have to pull out 5 pounds and then I do 3 reps with them. But
so how many sets and how many reps was the protocol?
It was a short on time foundation, normal workup, so 8, 5, 3, and 1 at 110 kilos. Then it was 2 sets. First was 3 times 122 and 5. And
so
then
you had an 8, a 5, a 3, and a single.
No, it was a warm up. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
What
so
was you're giving me too much information. What was your prescription for your working sets?
Super set. Two sets of 3 times 3 times and 7 times dumbbell incline. So on the first set, which I recorded.
So you had 3x3 deadlift.
3x3 deadlift, yes.
Okay.
And I pull this one's the first one. I pull the weight 3 times, and then on the second set. I couldn't lift it even once.
So
But
that means you picked a good effort on you picked a good weight on your first one. So all that
yeah,
means is it's not that you went too heavy. It's that you have to drop weight because
yeah,
of
I
the
did.
effort expenditure. So
I
you did good. You just need
okay.
to drop weight to keep that effort where it needs to be to get the rep scheme. Whereas
Yeah,
like
yeah, but I dropped like 5 pounds. Really, I gone from 222 to 220, and it went 3 times. And with just 5 pounds difference, it was like no go or 3 times. So I was right or what?
that's fine. I mean
Okay.
it was a drop set, right?
No, 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 no. It won't. No, dropped it.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, this is good. Your first working set, you pushed effort high. You pushed it hard
Yeah.
to the point you had to drop weight on the second set with a
Yes.
linear rep scheme. That is
Yes.
that is the right answer.
Okay.
Yep.
So this was additional, and now I try to keep my elbows straight.
Yeah, these look good.
Okay, last time it was like
You might want to bring them down so you're not coming down so high and so pinned back. You might want to come down to here so you're in that chest line and then drive up towards your face so you're not coming down and getting pinned up into the shoulder. You come down in just like you would on a barbell here and fire back up towards your face. So you'd come down to the dumbbells would be more in this area, in that natural plane to press.
yeah, I did it before and on the last Zoom, and my elbows were on not straight, so I try to correct it.
Yeah, that just means when you come down, you're going like this instead of
Oh,
instead
oh,
of
yeah,
coming
okay,
down. Like I can come down to my chest and keep the dumbbells over my elbow without being back here. So
okay,
elbow straightness isn't a matter of this, it's a matter of this. So I can be here and get my elbows under my wrists and press, right? So
yeah,
it's a matter of adjustment doing this versus this.
okay.
349,831.
Standing
And another one, just an additional, because I have a standing overhead dumbbell press, and one of my PTs said that I could stabilize my shoulder with kettlebells, but they are so light.
Yeah, you're doing what's called a bottoms up kettlebell press.
Yeah, and I have to switch grip in because I couldn't keep them straight. So after two, I have to do something like this, and then more like a dumbbell. And my question is, am I fucking up the program? Because should I go
Well, so
dumbbells, heavy dumbbells,
hold on,
or
hold on, hold on, hold on. Time out, time out. What is your PT addressing?
my shoulder mobility, stability, and a little pain in it.
Okay, so you get pain when you overhead press.
No, not on overhead. I get pain when I'm like 45 angle sometimes, or when I'm playing with my kids and they are like flailing, and so it's getting better. It's not pain. It's just like a pinch or something. And one of my collarbones is like higher than the other.
Yeah.
I
So
get them.
this is totally okay as a swap for the time being if you're actively working on something. If this is the course of method, the path that your physio is taking you to address whatever the issue is, this is totally fine. Um, it's not necessarily going to make you weaker overhead pressing because we're forcing a different priority, the priority being stabilization. Um, it doesn't mean it takes less strength. Your strength is just focused on something else. So stability translates into how much weight we can put over our head because we can't stabilize it, we can't move it. So this isn't fucking up your program. If you're doing a weight that still gets the
Yeah,
effort, gets the time under tension, you're
reps,
doing everything right.
reps are the same, just the weight is much, much lower than with a dumbbell, but
Yeah, it's harder.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
nope, all good.
Thank you, Nick. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you.
Hold on, this thing is jumping around on me. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Anyways, Rodrigo. Oh, people submitted last second. Rodrigo, this is RDLs. Okay, these are good. Hinging, good neutral back, good acceleration, good squeeze at the top. Boom, nailed these, man. Pushing that butt back. Well done. Joe. So this is better. You're bending at the knee more. You're getting more leg drag, but we need to get you back. So look here, look at the barbell versus your shoulder. So your shoulder, this is if you were to tie a string and hold it, right, and put a weight at the bottom, that weight's going to center underneath where you're holding the weight. This, your arm's the string. This is where it's anchoring. So what happens is when you start to get heavier, when that breaks off the ground, what's going to happen immediately is that bar is going to swing out and forward to create a perfectly straight line underneath where that string, aka your arm, is. So what happens is we need to bring your hips back. So your shoulders, so if this is your hips, this is your shoulders, you're here, we need to bring you here.
Okay.
All that looks like in application is going, if we're here and the barbell's behind, I'm literally just going to go, and now I'm in position. That's all it is.
Easy.
So you are out front of the weight, basically.
Yeah.
So by bringing you just a turn, a quarter turn into position, too far, you'll be behind the weight, and the weight will swing towards you, and your butt will kick up. So it's just a little subtle shift, and you're in position, and you push the ground away just like you did here.
Thank you.
That's literally all it is. All right, let's see how jacked up Ellis is. Ellis's deadlift actually looks brilliant. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that path. Boom. He sits in. This is what I call sitting into your hips. So when he pulls in tension and creates neutral in that lumbar, he's got thoracic flexion. This is fine. Thoracic flexion can gain us leverage. I have really long arms. I deadlift with thoracic flexion, but we got these big things called erectors here and lats to bear the load in thoracic flexion. That's not where the high torque is in a deadlift on the spine. It's in the lumbar right above the hips because this is a power transfer point right here. So what he does really, really good here, and it's what you see a lot of pullers that know how to deadlift do, is watch this moment when he pulls into his tension. He pushes into his hips. Boom, right there. And odds are when he finds that position, he feels a slight tension right down here at the bottom of his glute and his hamstring attachment. That's an active cue, meaning I've got my hamstrings and glutes in a position where there's tension, they're loaded before I even start my pull. So when I input the leg drive, it's going right into the bar. My hamstrings and glutes are where they need to be. This is what I talk about a physical cue is there's physical feedback happening in your body. You have to listen to it. My job is to tell you what to listen to. Because there's a lot of noise. And if you don't know, it's like going to a mechanic, right? And your car's making a noise. You don't know what fucking noise to listen to. You're like, it's squeaking, it's it's rattling, it's ticking. If your shit's ticking, please go to mechanic. That's not good. So this is just confirming what I see through his body. I can deduct that. I guarantee you, Ellis, correct me if I'm wrong, you feel right here when you sit into your hips, you feel that stretch. Boom, there.
Yeah, definitely in the deep in the glutes and the top of the hamstring. Yeah.
Yep. It's how I pull from the same hip height every time. Is I've ingrained that marker. I know where that spot is. So that's what he's doing. He has Ellis, you have an incredible setup. I mean, it is if I were to give a 101 class on a deadlift, I would use this video.
Thanks, mate.
This is beautiful. Just from, I mean, his shoulders are basically right over top of the bar. That bar is midfoot. He's going to have heavy midfoot. When I talk about foot pressure, we're using our whole foot, but we don't want to be toe heavy. We don't want to be too heel heavy. We want to be whole foot, but the primary marker is that midfoot pressure. I grab the floor with my feet when I deadlift, basically. Everything is in line. Bar path, hips, power goes right into the bar. He's not jerking on it. This is just, and I'm taking time on this because he's hitting all the things that need to be the same across everybody, regardless of proportions. The pulling in the tension. When he sits back and gets tight there, that's pulling slack out of the bar. Again, I'm willing to bet when he does that, he feels that little click in the bar, that slack, that metallic click, because there's bearings in there, there's a little bit of slack, there's some subtle tension in the bar. When he sits back and gets into that, he gets that little click, that tactile feedback from the bar that his structure is now loaded. The bar is got tension on it. So when he inputs with the big input of the leg drive and maintains his posture with his brace, it's going to go right into the bar. It's not going to go forward. It's not going to come back. It is loaded. His body is ready to receive the full weight of what's on the bar. So Ellis, this is one of the prettiest deadlifts I've seen thus far.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it, Nick. Thanks, mate.
This is
And it's your coaching, mate. You drilled me on this one, so thanks for that.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
And Bart, you have a very similar position, a very similar proportion. Your positioning is great. Your setup is slightly different, but it's not too far from the standard. You don't jerk on the bar. You're in position. Your hips don't kick up. You have good, really good deadlift position. Look at your posterior. It's neutral. You've got so many big things right here. It's a sound deadlift.
Also, thanks to you, Nick.
I'm here to help. So this makes me happy seeing you guys absolutely nail this stuff, man. It's really exciting. So, Bridget, you've got the right idea. You are trying to squat your deadlift though. You're doing great with posture and leg drive and everything, but what's happening at the beginning of your pull, because your hips are not in position for your glutes and your hamstrings to really do what they're really good at. So what's happening right before the pull, when you start all that movement, look at all this movement you have before the bar breaks the ground. Hips, hips, hips. Look, you're still getting over your power. Now you're in your position. This is your deadlift position. So I want you to pick the bar up in this position. This is fantastic. This is great. This is a really, really sound start to then fine tune. What that is doing is you start over the bar. Look at that shoulder alignment with the barbell. It's fantastic. But because you're trying to squat your deadlift, as soon as you input power, look how your shoulders now pass the bar. So what we need to do is reduce knee angle so your hips are allowed to rise slightly, but we don't want to rock you forward any further because then you're past the bar. So realistically, what that cue input is going to look like is you're here. We literally want to reduce knee angle and bring the hips up. Nothing else changes. Everything else you're doing stays exactly the same. Just stand up slightly versus the contrast being Ellis's or Bart's. I'm going to use Ellis's because he had a better side angle. Versus his hips are in that height and that position. Also, Bart's. His hips are already at that higher angle. They're deadlifting. They're not trying to squat the bar. So that's all we need to do is bring your hips up, suck the knees back, and keep this. See, even here, you're slightly behind the bar. So it's all the magic's going to happen with knee angle and hip height. Jacqueline, we're doing maybe, let's see, doing Russian twists. Okay. These are good. These are really stable, but we can get a little bit more out of them, meaning a slightly bigger range of motion and a slight arc in the twist. So to increase the difficulty, will actually bring my feet up off the floor like 3 or 4 inches and let them kind of hover. So I put all that load here. And when I Russian twist, I'm actually reaching over and down and trying to meet the floor. What you'll see a lot of people do is they'll twist and then they'll make up the rest by reaching. That's what we don't want to do. We want a nice angle that forces us to reach for the floor and really fire in. So firing in, meaning when we come over and down, I'm actually getting a little bit of a crunch to get down to the floor. By picking your feet up, now if it's at a degree of difficulty where you don't have the motor skill or the strength or whatever the reason may be, minimizing the input of your heels in the floor is what is going to allow that to progress. Like a band on a deadlift, a band on a pull-up. We reduce band tension to reduce assistance to help, progress. So the less you have in contact with the floor, the less you're going to get assistance-wise. So I challenge you to try and pick your heels up ever so slightly. It doesn't need to be much, just off the floor, and try and create that internal stabilization. We just watched that. Using the strap method, keeping those elbows high. I would take your J hooks down one hole, so you don't have to tippy toe in and out of the rack. So one, we need to work on getting our feet square. So we are kind of drop stepped with that, I guess, left, if this is mirrored, maybe right. With this foot we're kind of turned, and in turn we see our hips turning with it. So we need to work on a few things leading into the squat. We need to work on your setup. So lowering the J hooks so we can come up and out, like barely even a quarter part of the squat, just up and out, setting your feet, and making sure we're squared up. The other thing, I would like to see it from the side, but you might be a little bit too wide. It looks like we're lacking a little bit of stability. And you see with that back foot, I say back foot because it is behind this other foot, it is turning you in the bottom of your squat. So the toes pointed out is fine, but we're so wide, we're having to really open up to get, we can't maintain that quad tension, that quad engagement we're trying to use a lot of adductor. So if we bring you in slightly narrower, I'd like to see these from the side as well. It might put you in better alignment along with getting your feet square. Julianna, dumbbell, kickstand, SDLs. All right, let's see what we got here.
I have never done these before, so please be gentle with me.
I would just you're realistically your back foot you're too spread out. So what that is doing is you see how that back foot hip is behind your front foot hip.
Mhm.
So part of that is you're reaching and you can't get in position. So we realistically want to just bring it. So you're here. We just want to go here. So
Okay.
like I'm doing this is the loaded leg. So I can pick my foot up the whole time I'm doing this. See? I don't need it. It's just for small input instability. The other thing to keep that when we do bring it in, to keep that outside hip with the kickstand leg from trailing, we're going to actively drive it forward. And when I say actively, it's going to feel like you're twisted the wrong direction. But look what happens when I don't. You see how it rotates me out?
Yes, yeah.
So I'm going to actively drive it forward. You're going to feel less range of motion available, and you're going to feel a big stretch through here when you do it. So you get set, you drive it forward, you brace, you hinge. The rest of your position, meaning your hinge pattern, your hinge is great. I don't want you to change anything about your hinge. It's just going to start with bringing that back foot forward, keeping this doing 99.9% of the work and driving that hip forward of the kickstand leg.
Okay,
That's it.
So I've got them again on Saturday, so I'll resubmit then.
You've got the gist of this. It's just you've never done them before. That's it.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Richard looks like some landmine T-bar rows. I'd like to see a little less leg drive. The subtle hinge is okay. I just don't want you coming up and using that leg extension and then pulling yourself out of position. Because remember, we want to row in. We want the chest to go in advance towards the row. So if we're maintaining that back squeeze, we come down, we row, and our back coming together should push the front of our body towards the weight. So just if I'm trying to reach back, right, I'm trying to contract my back, my chest goes out because of the contraction. So if I'm rowing here, I'm still spread out in the back versus contracting the back. So this leg drive and you kind of curling around the weight isn't getting us that back squeeze and that tension we want. So the subtle leg drive out of the hole is fine. And that subtle, a few degrees of hinge pattern is fine, but I want you to be here at the top of the row. Chest out, back squeezed.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Richard, back squats. It looks back squats, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I'm still struggling a little bit trying to push into the bar like you were explaining last week, but I was definitely trying.
Everything looks composed. When you are driving into the bar, are you squeezing here with your back, your upper back?
No, I think that's where I feel like I'm having my main problem. I'm trying to get adjusted to get there, but I'm like a little unsure of exactly how I need to be positioned.
Literally keep everything how you are, squeezing the bar, and I want you to squeeze the upper back together, just bit. And when you brace, what happens is we brace and we brace down and in, but what happens is we don't come down and in with the rest of our body. So we get in, squeeze, and we bear down into that rib cage. Kind of, I don't fold, but I clamp down on it for that internal pressure. But I'm still maintaining that upper back squeeze.
So would you say the upper back squeeze should be similar when you're bench pressing, like trying to keep your blades together, kind of?
Pretty much identically. If that's what makes it click, do it.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, thank you.
Okay, so he's trying the wall method. I gave him to keep him from hinging over so far in his squat. Yeah, that's better. See how forward and in you get, Mike? The knees start to collapse. I want you to actively drive those knees out towards your pinky toes. We don't want those knees to collapse in, and then you roll it inside of your foot, and then it pushes you forward. So driving those knees out, and then that femur alignment is what's gonna basically track your hips down over your heels. The wall is good because it's keeping you from folding, but you stop sitting as soon as those knees collapse and your feet roll in and your heels come up. So getting that to transfer into your depth, you need to pull those knees apart and keep that midfoot pressure and those heels on the floor. We're gonna piece this together, piece by piece. So we're just gonna address one thing at a time until we've got one fluid motion. Sandra, rack pulls. Yes, there's the heavy. Good. You
That
got a
really is
nice,
first set mindset, Nick.
yeah.
I was
You
like, what
got
the
a
hell am I
nice hard
doing?
lockout. Keep that arm straight. I love these.
Oh, good.
Well done. So at the top of your deadlift, I want you to start doing this cue where you did it a little bit there, where you really, when you lock out, you peel your shoulders back.
Okay.
So we come up and we peel back as we're squeezing our glutes.
All righty.
Which one was the repeat? I read your thing.
This is not a repeat.
Okay.
And look at my wrists. That took a year, Nick.
Sometimes it does, but you got there. Hear that from anybody? Oh, I can't, it hurts my wrist. She spent a year getting here, but she got there. We just need to get you to sit a little bit deeper. That's it. You're right there on full blown depth. You're right there. I mean, another 2-3 inches. That's the only thing separating it. So everything's looking really, really good. I kind of want to see your width on these.
Okay.
Whether you send me a video from the front or back, I don't. Let me see it from the front because I
Okay.
want to see what your knees are doing. I've got a pretty good idea what's going on from a back point of view from the side. So let me see it from the front. I want to see your foot width and what your knees are doing and see if there's anything like you're getting in your own way of depth per se.
Okay. Will do. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Andres, reverse dumbbell flies.
Might be the same.
So it's the elbow angle.
Okay.
See how we're here, So that's using everything else in our back and not focusing on the rear delt. So the only thing that changes it is going from here with our elbows to here.
Okay,
So
so
I'm doing
drop
the fly here
like this.
with my elbows pointed towards the ceiling. Here,
Yeah.
I want you to just do this. Lean forward, get into your fly position. And I want you to tell me what you feel when you feel it. So do it how you've been doing it. Turn your elbows back and down.
So like this.
Yeah. Now turn them forward.
Okay, hold on.
So stay out. Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I feel my shoulder. Yeah.
So
like
now
here.
turn them back down again. I want you to keep them up here. Don't row. Just keep them up here. I just want you to turn. Now turn them down.
Okay. Up here.
What do you feel there?
How was that?
Here I feel shoulders, and here, yeah, like goes back
You
here.
feel way more of your back
Yeah.
into it doing that versus when we
Right.
stay in this position, we feel that strap behind the shoulder.
Yeah. So okay, so keep it here and then just go like this.
Yes. So when we open with our elbows down and our hands more supinated, what that's doing is it's recruiting way more of our back for
Okay.
the motion versus keeping them elbows here
Yeah.
and opening in this plane. We're getting we're not, there's no such thing as true isolation.
Yeah.
We are prioritizing more of the rear delt.
Okay. All right. So got it. I'll do it for the next time and we'll see how it goes. So I guess you can skip the front view then.
Okay. April, front squat. Not pretty. We'll see. The rack position look good.
Been working on my wrists like Sandra.
I mean, it looks good so far. There's nothing wrong with those. What are you talking about, not pretty?
Because they feel like shit.
They're front squats. They're probably gonna.
Yeah, so I'm just working on form. Well, then that's great. Look what you've done. Because remember, you were showing me in Los Angeles in March, and I couldn't do anything. So I've been working on it since then. Yay!
No, this is a great front squat.
Oh my God! Did somebody get that on video? Wait, we have it on video. Great.
Oh, you're hitting all the right marks here. I just kind of want to see what happens when you really get into that high effort.
Yeah, I'll start adding weight. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Yay!
ma'am.
All right.
Boland, kickstand RDL. So slight bend in that rear leg, because this, again, with the kickstand RDLs, people, the rear leg shouldn't really be loaded. It's just, as it says, a kickstand. The minimum amount of pressure required to keep you balanced. That's it. No less, no more. So with that being said, slight bend in the knee, kind of on the ball of your foot, your toes, and drive that bent side forward like I was talking about in the previous one. So it's not lagging. Your hinge is great. I love your hinge pattern. But bend that knee and actively drive that hip forward to keep those hips squared up. And where the kickstand really comes into play is when your hips get back, it allows you to have the smallest subtle input to keep you front foot heavy. Pull deadlift. Position looks good. Yeah. Okay. Hips kick up just a little bit. So what you could do is literally start here in the hip position. Start there, and you won't have that hip kick up, subtle pitch forward, which causes your knees to suck back. You end up a little straight legged sooner. If we start in that position, I think you'll feel a little bit more snappy off the floor. Otherwise, great. Look at that brace. Holden, he's loaded. Love it. Barrett, RDLs. Okay, so pretty much there. I want less knee bend and I want more hips sliding back and forth. So your knees, I don't want your knees to bend any more than that. And I want your hips to continue back. So your weight is going to end up in your heels here. And your range of motion stops where your hinge pattern has to give. Now, your hinge pattern looks really good here. We're just bending our knees a little bit too much. So we want that hip to glide on a line. Slide back, slide forward, squeeze your butt, they come back forward. You're like 90% there. Just we need to reduce the knee bend. When it happens, you can kind of keep the same knee angle almost the whole time. I personally, when I do RDLs, I come up to my lockout position in deadlift because of the carryover. But I want you to get used to the knee angle required for your RDLs. Goblet squats for Barrett. These look much better with the knee elevation. I'm sorry, heel elevation. You've got long femurs, so naturally you're going to have to fold more. So the heel elevation, no surprise, made a night and day difference. Now you're bearing your squats. Keep on keeping on. Well done. Becky Maldonado, deadlifts. These are looking better.
Yay.
So your second rep, you kind of reverted a little bit.
Okay.
You limited yourself on leg drive. You pretty much did an SDL because if you look at the input to the bar, watch how you don't really get any leg extension to pick it up off the floor. It's all hinge. You're all hinge on that rep. And we want those legs. So versus this one, we get more leg drive out of the hole. Boom. See how the legs start to straighten up as soon as you can see the legs inputting in the bottom.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to sit you down a little bit more. Reason being
Okay.
is when you're in this start position, your hip height is virtually the same as your shoulder height. So we need to
Okay.
get you to, were you here at the beginning when I was talking about Ellis's and Bart's deadlifts?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to need to get you sitting into your hips and pushing back into your hips. So you're not all lower back and glute throughout the whole thing. We're going to have to bring your butt down a good amount because you're asking a lot of your back.
Okay.
And you're leaving pounds on the table. When it comes to you're using less to do more, essentially. So I want you to get used to pulling yourself, using the bar, using the weight, and pulling yourself down into position into that cat-cow. So if I start here, and I'm going to physically pull myself down into that position and generate that tension. So as I'm pulling myself down, I'm pushing myself back into my glutes and my hips, which turns the tailbone to that sky, that cat-cow, that interior tilt we were talking about in the lumbar.
Right.
And allowing you to kind of drop into that position and utilize the leg drive.
Okie dokie. I will work on that.
Yes, ma'am. Mindy, chest supported rows. Volume up. Okay.
This is my first time with chest supported rows, and they feel quite a bit harder than bent over rows.
They are.
So I felt like I was using too much traps and body English on the left with 30-pound dumbbells. So I dropped to 25 pounds on the right. Can you let me know if I'm on the right track with that? Thanks so much.
Yeah, I mean they are. They're just a chest supported, or i.e. a seal row is harder because we aren't able to get that kind of that big stretch and more of our back into it position wise. It is forcing you to only use a certain amount to row. With that being said, when the initiator is the same. It's with your start your pull with your back, just like you would on a pull up or a bent over row. So the initiator is the same. It's boom, and then we row. Boom, and then we row. And all together, it looks like one motion with correct timing. I'm contracting and squeezing to break the inertia, if you will. Amelie, working on her high pulls. That's a great position. I love it. Your timing is looking much better. The direction of the pull looking much better. I want to see you bracing in cadence though. I can see you breathing and exhaling. So you know how you get big air on your squat, your bench, your deadlift before you lift, and then you lift? I want to see you doing that same bearing down motion when you're doing these as well. But these are looking much, much better. I want to see these for another week. I want you to get comfortable with these. I want you to get comfortable with the reps you're doing now. These are looking better than they ever have. But I want a little bit more familiarization time with that explosive movement. And then we can throw in the clean. Basically, all that translates to is when it gets that high pull, you snap under. That's it. I don't want you overthinking that or thinking it's anything other than that for now. So you're just gonna, as you finish that high pull, you snap under. But for now, I want you to get some more reps with this position, the bracing correct, and the way you're moving this weight to get you comfortable. So when we do add in the clean, none of this changes.
Okay, that's good.
Well done.
I didn't feel that my knees passed far, but when I watched myself in the video, I was like, I wasn't sure about my knees. Did I too front?
So you're not sure about your
If my
knees being past the.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a deeper sitting position, so it's going to require more knee angle. Your knees aren't hitting the bar. Because if you look, when you come up off the floor, watch what happens. Well, look at that. Your knees suck back because your glutes fire. They, biomechanically speaking, to input the desired input, your knees are gonna get out of the way because as you input leg drive, to leg drive, you have to straighten the leg. That is the extension happening. So your knees will clear. I don't want you to.
Okay.
Let's think.
Okay, I'm done anything with that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Mark, bodyweight tricep extensions. Okay. Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, these are great. Um, these you kind of have to play with because we all got different arm lengths. Um, it's I would typically go narrower, so I had more clearance with my head. The wider you go, the less clearance you have, and it's harder to stay in that elbows in position. Mark, my only real feedback for you on this would be try to come in a little bit so you stay right by your ears and you don't have to kind of go around the bar and somewhat turn it into a press and it stays that tricep extension. It's funny when I was go ahead.
It is a surprisingly hard exercise. So I was like, it went from like, I don't know, something like 10 to 15 this week. And I was like, yeah, I can barely do 6 after the first attempt.
Yeah.
So it's like, am I doing something wrong? Am I?
No, you're in the figuring out phase. Like, where do I put my hands? Where do I could so just like a deadlift, we're gonna turn our elbows down and we're going to extend in this. So we don't have to you at that width, I think just it ate up too much of your arm length to really get into the position. So I would just come in a little bit narrower, keep those elbows like snap the bar, keep those elbows so it's and where how your wrists are pinned, I go over top of the grip. So I grab it like this and I do it that way so I'm not pinned back. I feel way more sturdy.
Yeah.
Dumbbell clean and press.
I figured I'd show it if it has improved in regards to last week.
Yeah, look at that. You kind of snapped them up. Now, what you can do if you feel limited by your clean is you can kind of get a little bit of a bit. You see how I kind of came back first? And then as soon as they start advancing forward, that's when I yank up. Does that make sense? Because you're coming down from a straight dead stop and flipping up, which is good. That is the correct input. But to
give them a bit of
with a little bit more weight, when you need to move up in weight, you kind of get this little bit of swing forward, swing back, bit down.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. That's it. That's all it is. It's just a subtle little wiggle, if you will.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Sundip, barbell deadlift. I'm gonna pause you right there. So you did all of this good. I love how you just stacked your back. That was great. But look how far out front you are. You are over your toes with the barbell. So this is where we need to bring everything back. We need to reel that barbell in. We need to get it more over our midfoot, kind of where your shoelaces tie, somewhere in there, maybe a quarter inch out. It's going to vary because of femur length's a thing. So as you bring that in, it's going to allow your hips to come up slightly and you're going to come back into your midfoot. So you're really far forward. You're really far forward and high knee angle. So we're going to come up and we're going to come back. And that's going to put us into that position. Your shoulders are over the bar. That is great, which is why everything's going to be done pretty much with the lower body as far as adjustment goes. So you need to come back. And when you come back, what's going to happen is you're going to feel your hips try to sink down. So when you come back, then you're going to bring your hips up. And then you're going to drive from there. Yeah, see your hips kicked up, which is why we're going to bring our hips up when we shift back. And then as you deadlift, See how front foot you are? That bar swings in slightly to get into your bar path. Yep. Dumbbell rear fly.
Yannick, il fait des rear flies.
So same thing with you're doing a lateral raise. That's what this is. It's just a seated lateral raise due to the angle and how you're raising the dumbbell. That same thing I just talked about with Andres earlier is it comes down to this angle here. So being that you're so vertical and your elbows are turned back, you're working the entire delt. You're working on that head versus when we get further over and we turn those elbows to the sky and we row in this plane, we raise in this plane, that's when you get into the rear delt. Colin working on his belt squat. Yes.
I think
These
my
are good.
left foot keeps on clapping. I don't know why. And the inseam and the instep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. That is without any weight.
Yeah, I see. It looks good without any weight. Your feet, I'd keep your feet a little bit further out in front of you.
Okay.
Kind of
So
how you're doing
more,
without the belt.
more to the bow.
Yeah, so your feet are going to go from here to like here.
Okay.
It's not a massive change.
Okay. I can't wait.
This is good. It's just I would do the chain tighter. So I'd
Okay.
wind it up more so the dumbbell's higher. Gives you
Okay.
clearance. Nothing, you didn't really change anything, which is good. The load hasn't changed your technique. That's why we spent so much time doing it the way we've been doing it. Just the same thing I gave you on the last one. Bring your feet from like here to here so we can still sit back.
Okay. How many reps?
Whatever program you're following.
I do the great.
How many reps?
Yeah.
That depends on whatever program you're on.
Okay. Thanks.
Your bench question.
Yeah.
I need a video. I need to see what's going on.
That's what I always fall off.
So submit a video next week of your benching from the side and from the front, and your squatting is going great, so it'll be okay if we don't hit that next week. I would just bring your feet a little bit more forward, tighten the chain up so the kettlebell's higher. But I want to see two angles of your bench press from the side and from the front so I can see what your legs are doing, what your hips are doing, and also what you're doing collectively to keep you on the bench without.
This is my strong arm, and I always drop the weight when I'm done. And
if all else fails, we'll get Miss Ottman to show up with some ratchet straps and just crank you down onto the bench. And just tie you to the thing.
Yeah.
So if you fall, the bench goes with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just send me a video from the side and from the front of next week of your bench pressing and we'll take a look.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. Tish, kickstands. Good. This is actually brilliant. Collectively, she's doing everything right. The only thing, I see a little bit of outward tilt to that rear foot with the hip. So just be conscious on keeping that hip drive forward. But Tish, these look fantastic. I'm happy with these. Well done. Michael, deadlifts. Let's see. Bring your hips up just a hair, Michael. We're a little low on the hips, causing a little bit of kick up, but it's subtle. Otherwise, your pull's looking really good. So that would be the only thing. So that right there, when you come up out of the hole, right here.
Okay.
So the cure for that is simply starting there. That's your start position. You've got these nice long arms, man. Those things are made to deadlift. So we can get away with a higher hip position and a higher starting point because you got these nice long leverages. So we're going to utilize them. And this isn't something you typically do in the past. You have it on some reps, some you don't. So I'm not like overly worried. It could have just been this day, this set, whatever.
I'm sneaking up on 300.
Okay.
So I'm really keeping. I was expecting my form to start slipping. I noticed my left arm is beginning to help a little too much.
Okay. Yeah, we got that left bicep.
Yeah, it's starting to flex there at the end.
Yep.
So I'm going to be doing 300s for reps by mid-August, I think. So I know that you're going to start breaking down.
This is 275. Like I have no doubt that
that's
I don't doubt that.
That's 290 right there.
290. Yep, I see the change. Yeah, I have no doubt that's gonna be what you're doing. So when we get there, just remember, just get into your position, then kick the hips up ever so slightly. And then once you find that position on a regular basis, you'll be able to pull yourself down. If you were here for, again, when I was talking about Ellis's pull, how he pulled himself down into position.
I was thinking about the cue for getting the hip in the right position. I want to get into what you were seeing here, and then maybe tighten the arms a little bit more.
Yep.
To kind of squeeze that up a little bit more.
Yeah, however it makes sense internally for you, it doesn't matter. That we just need to make sense. So whatever is the causation for the desired result, that's the goal.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Now this one's sloppy. I don't know whether it's the angle or the belly fat.
Yeah, we're a little loose in the lumbar. Just a little bit. But you didn't push the envelope with range of motion. That's the only thing, is really conscious of keeping that lumbar together with those. And you recognized it before I even saw the video. So
I wasn't sure what it was. So you said I'm pushing the envelope with the range of motion?
No, you're fine with your range of motion. You're just a little lazy in the lumbar, keeping that neutral together. So you're good. And then look at that. We're starting our flexion.
Yeah, I think this is the last rep of 3 supersets.
Yes, which is why I said the lumbar is getting lazy, because it being fatigued.
Next time, if I submit these, I'll do the first and last set.
Yeah, well, the goal is to maintain that first set position.
Yeah.
So
I need to video them both so I can see before and after.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Perfect. Thanks.
Yes, sir. And Ottman, barbell clean and press. Strict press is great. The clean, we need to drop our butt. We need to get down into a cleaning position. She is basically stiff leg deadlifting them, or muscle cleaning them, if you will. We want to use our legs on the clean. So we need to drop the butt, get into position, and use our legs and fire up, just like how on Amelie's video, she has a lower hip position than she would on a deadlift. And that's what we want to see out of this. So, and I recommend warming up if you've done the high pulls. I would start off with a hang clean, and start doing your cleans from a hanging position, because you have a good hinge pattern. So we start from the hang clean, and we'll get you used to that, and then we can build the bottom range of motion once you know what the bar needs to do from that point up. But even in a hang clean, you got to bend the knees a little bit more. You need to drop the butt a little bit more, kind of like a RDL, and then we drive away with our feet into the ground, using the legs to start it, and then receiving the bar.
Okay, she might also
She hurt her arm?
yeah, but she says her arm is better now.
Okay.
But she will watch the video to that.
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
of course. So Thorin's question. Okay, so he's doing barbell ab wheel rollouts. These are these are great variation. I love these myself. So for rollouts, I've substituted them with cable crunches, because with the cable, I got to do so many more reps. Is that a reasonable substitution? It is and it isn't. Reason being that this is such a bigger range of motion, and it's more time under tension. What you can do is add weight to that bar, and it's going to be harder to roll back towards you. And it's going to be harder to stop the momentum. The other thing you can do is switch to standing position. So start on your feet and gradually roll out. You're going to notice a uppage in difficulty on these when you start doing them from the standing position. I would recommend doing that before switching to the cable. If I know you're about to be traveling soon and stuff, so if there's no option for that, then yes, the cable is a fine substitution when there's no other choice. His question for single arm dumbbell rows: how would you recommend progressing them? The heaviest dumbbells are too light now. I tried using a hammer curl bar, but it felt awkward, but I could do it more. So a couple options. We can start adding tempo, and pauses. Yeah, big boy row for sure. Look at that power. Love that. So what I would start doing now is start adding 4 count eccentrics with a 1 count squeeze at the top. So it arrests, and we get a big contraction, 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. Row, 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be where I start, unless, I don't know the gym owner, but I have pestered 1 or 2 gym owners in my day to get heavier shit. So that is also an option. I'd like to think, it wouldn't be out of their scope to go get another 2 sets of dumbbells with, 20 to anywhere from 10 to 20 kilo heaviers heavier options. But yes, tempo, that time under tension to maintain that effort is a good way to pick up for the lack of weight. When it comes to actual implement, landmine row. So, we can stack a shitload of plates on the end of a bar. And then if you come to the outside of the bar and grab the end of the barbell and you stand so the barbell, if you're facing this way, the barbell's going that way, you can add a shitload of weight, 3, 4, 5 plates on the end of that barbell and do rows with it that way. When it comes to just strictly more load, that because of your situation for you, that could be a valid option to simply just get more weight. Ian Miller, straight leg deadlift question.
Leg deadlifts. Okay, my program has stiff leg deadlifts and straight leg deadlifts. I've looked at both videos and descriptions. Can't tell the difference.
That's because they're not different. They're the same thing, in my opinion. I saw Catch was in here. Is that the difference in labeling a straight leg and a stiff leg? In my opinion, it's the same damn thing.
It's the same exercise.
Okay, so it's just a matter of it got typed in with a different word. It's the same thing, Ian. Don't overthink it. Don't change anything, whether you see one or the other. Jonathan, top quarter squats. He's pushing weight. I love to see it. Jonathan, I want you going to the pins. So set the pins at a height where you come to a dead stop on the pin. But these are, you've got the right idea. You're overloading that top quarter of the squat. So, well done. That was good. I didn't want you to be trigger shy on weight here and really push.
Scrap.
So if I remember correctly in the chat, he asked, he had a single in the program, and if he should be doing these with 1 rep in reserve. Let me see if I can find his actual. I meant to screenshot it and got distracted. But okay, because I asked what program, where are you at in the program, and what does it say exactly? So he's doing maximize your strength. He's on phase 3. Catch, are you listening?
Yes.
So his question, because you might be able to chime in here.
He got singles in phase 3. It's my favorite part.
He said, I have a question about my deadlift as I had sets of 1 rep in my workout, but not sure if I approach them right. Should I be trying for 1 rep maximum, or should I aim for something that I can possibly do 2 reps with? I did increase the weight on my last set, which is in the video, but I think I could have managed a little bit more. And I asked, what program, where are you at, and what does it say? He said, I'm doing maximize your strength, and I'm on phase 3 now. The workout I had, the single deadlifts on, had 3 sets of 1 deadlift with 3.5 minutes between each set. This is the first rep exercise in the workout. Next time I repeat it, increase to 4 sets of 1 rep. So with that being said, before Catch chimes in, because he's ran this a lot, if it's 3 sets of 1, ideally when you should be able to maintain that weight for at least 1 to 2 of those 3 sets due to effort, right? So if there's 1 rep in reserve, you may be able to squeak out all 3, but odds are you have 1 rep in reserve on the first one, you have no reps in reserve on the second one, drop weight a little bit on the third one would be the ideal outcome for a linear rep scheme like that. So no, a 1 rep max wouldn't be the target because you have to do it for multiple reps for 1 rep across 3 sets. Catch, go ahead.
Yep. Nick pretty much nailed it. But inside your workout, what I want people to think about is you are not trying to test your deadlift that day. We would never have you test your deadlift 3 sets in a row or 4 weeks in a row. So you're not going for a 1 rep max. You're going for what you can do with perfect form that is still first set mindset. So the way Nick described it is perfect. Some people are going to hit that first set and realize, shit, I could have done 3 and then need to go up. But you want to have 1 in the tank on that first set. It needs to be hard, but your form has to hold. You're not at the point of we'd allow in a 1 rep max test where your form's going to get a little janky. You want it to be perfect. And yes, by the way, we hear from members all the time. There are probably some on the call who that last phase when it's all, they actually do hit 1 rep maxes, but they're doing it with good form. Has anyone hit one during that phase? No.
Cool.
Well, we see you in the comments all the time where it's like, I just got to phase 3. Oh my God, I hit my all-time deadlift max in my workout. So it will happen, but we want you to have like very flawless form on those. And like Nick said, 1 rep in the tank on that first one.
Regarding your actual pulling technique, it's looking better at high effort than it has. We've got good leg drive in there. Your hips didn't really kick up all that much like they have in the past. You maintained very similar position throughout the whole rep. So, I mean, you were heavy. So, I'm okay with this, Jonathan. Well done. Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question on it. I just started MYS first time through on it, and I just hit a deadlift. In fact, yesterday's workout was 3x2. So 3 sets of 2, which still tells you need to be pretty close. What does the workups look like that? I added a couple of extras because my first set of anything is usually an empty bar or very close to it. But I'm thinking on the last workup, you want to be within 10% of that 2 rep max.
I mean, that's pretty much about it. So workups are going to very much depend on where you're at, on how big the jumps are. Like if, someone who deadlifts 600, their workup scheme is going to look different than someone who deadlifts 400 for a while. So with that being said, your workups the jumps don't get bigger, they get smaller or they stay the same. So what's your deadlift?
I'm sitting around 300 right now.
Okay, so what did you work up to on the 3x2?
I started out, first set was 245 or 135. Then I went to 185 or 135 by 8, 185 by 4, 215 by 3, and then started on my 3s. I went 155, 165, and 175 for my 2s. I had 3 sets of 2s.
So you worked up to heavier than your working weight?
No. My last set of workups was probably sitting about 235, and then I started pushing on for the 3 sets of 2 about 265, 75, and 280.
Oh, you said 185, 265. I was like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's about right.
I just added extra workups in to get close to it, so I wasn't making these huge jumps.
Big jumps are okay to lower percentage. So like if you go from 135 to say, in example, I start out on 135, then I go 225, then I go 315, then I go 405, Then I go from a 90-pound jump to a 50-pound jump at 405 to 455. Then I do another 50-pound jump to 505. Then from there I do somewhere between 30 and 40-pound jump. And then I maintain a 30-pound jump. Any jump smaller than that, and even if I've got a set leg of 8, I get my first 2 pulls like we prescribe, you have a set of 10, 8, whatever. After 225, my numbers go down significantly. I'm doing threes, I'm doing threes, then I'm doing twos, then I'm doing singles, boom, working set, because I'm judging off of my speed on where I'm going to end up. And because I've been doing it a while. So this workups can be nuanced, but they don't need to be. The whole reason is to prime the nervous system. So when you get to your working weight, you're not like, holy shit. So within that recipe, if you find when you get up there, you need, say, like your first set was what? 265?
265, yes.
Your first set was 265. You need like a 10%, like that 10% is like the sweet spot between your last workup and your first working set. That's fine. So go ahead.
I can give you a slightly more human version from me. But also what Nick said, you're going to want to figure out what works best for you. Right. Because like I do pretty well when I'm going for a heavy double or a heavy triple or even a heavy 4-rep set. I've learned my body likes to go to singles as I get closer. So a lot of times for me, like in that exact workout you're in, when I was going for 445 for 2, it would look like I've never been a just deadlift the bar guy, but I would start at 135 for 8. Then I do 225 for 4. And then 315 I'm doing for 3. 365 I'm doing for a single. And then I'm going to jump to 405 and hit a single. And that's where sometimes if it feels like it's super fast, I might, because it's the same jump, just hit my 445. If it feels like, uh-oh, that didn't go how I want, I might do the 425 single before I go for my double.
Gotcha.
So a lot of it, it's hard. Nick has watched me learn how to auto-regulate in real time. Some days you're going to find a weight that tells you what you have that day after enough training. Like for me, 365, I know if that's moving fast, it's going to be a great day. If that's not moving fast, I'm not going to hit what I thought I was going to hit that day.
Gotcha. So it's the first time on this program, so it was like, okay, I got to make some adjustments, but it worked good. That's a good approach. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? Hit me. Bart, go ahead.
Nick, what's the requirements for your workforce program? When it's gonna be uploaded, you're working on, but
That's a
those are
catch. Go ahead.
Is it that I'm sorry, I was walking by a preschool with kids screaming. What was the question?
The
Is when's
the workhorse program and when's it going to be uploaded?
No, maybe not when, but like I know you are locking those program behind the completed workouts. So
yeah, we plan on launching it next month in early August, and the requirements for anyone who wants to do it, it will only be at the advanced level, and it will only be available for people who have done both an advanced foundation and an advanced maximize your strength program.
Thank you.
Reason being is there is a broad movement list. So you're going to get a lot of variety in there. And I need to be able to trust that you know how to do certain things at a fundamental level. Clean and press, bench press, squat, deadlift. There's things like Turkish get-ups. There's higher level movements just in general that require a good amount of coordination. There's sandbag to shoulder, stone to shoulder, whatever implement you have to be able to shoulder. So there is a very high level movement list to this comparatively to what a lot of people have experienced in here. There's some stuff in there labeled strongman conditioning. And the only reason it's called that is because it's the style of conditioning we would do in prep for the sport. There's some sort of carry, farmer carry, front loaded carries, where I don't care what the implement is, pick up something really fucking heavy that you have to hold in front of you and go for a walk for the allotted distance and try and move fast. So there's just a higher level required of being able to, if you're going week to week and you're like, I don't know how to do this movement, I don't know how to do this movement, I don't know how to do this movement, it's not for you. You're not there yet. If you have to constantly figure out how to get through 1 week at a time on the movement index, yes, we have videos to coincide, but if it becomes a process of, I'm going to change this out, I don't know how to do it, or if the only reason we change something out is for an equipment reason. But this is a higher level movement. And if you're fundamentally, if you're not being able, there's clean and presses weekly. So that's why that was the first thing out of my mouth is you have to know what variation, how to do the variation, at some level of autonomy, to be able to go through this program effectively. Not only that, is it's percentage based effort. It is not first set mindset. It is a totally different style of training that a lot of athletes use for effort management. And if you have to know that if you're working up and you get to that 70% and it's moving slow, you need to have the auto regulation capability to go, I'm going to do that set at 65% because 70% feels like 80%. So that's why it is just a completely different style of training than I would say most, if not everyone in here has done. But it is for those people that are ready. We don't want anybody to be inhibited from growth by what's offered. So this is that next step, that next level for people that are ready for more. Not that you can't get there, but when you look at it and you spend, you read through the phases and you go, what is that? 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 I'm not there yet. My advice to you is when you get there and you see some of that, take the time to do some research. What a Turkish getup is, what a thing that is, and maybe at the end of your workouts, pick them to progress into workhorse. If it doesn't make you comfortable looking at it, pick one of those movements from workhorse and go, I'm going to practice that at a very light weight just for muscle memory and movement pattern, motor skill knowledge. I'm going to practice that at the end of my workout just to learn how to do the movement so you can get yourself ready for a program that you eventually want to do if it's something you do want to do. So that is why we are kind of putting it behind certain things that to have access to, because it's going to be hard. I mean, when Catch first ran it, he wasn't ready. He was not ready. He was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. But we needed to test it. So luckily he had me to kind of, he could ping me on a regular basis to kind of help him get through that and build that learning curve, because what he may have lacked in motor skill set, Catch, I could trust his work ethic. So I knew he wasn't going to cut the percentages. Plus, he needed to learn it because you guys are going to have questions. So with that workhorse, it is very important, guys. If you can't do the big four, squat, bench, deadlift, clean and press at a fundamental level with some level of efficiency, it's not for you. So,
this is one of those programs where sometimes I'll tell people like, hey, if you feel like going to advanced to try this, go ahead, you can push yourself. This is not in that category. Like Nick said, it was a struggle for me, and it was a struggle for the two guys who did it with me to test it. One of them is an idiot, but one of them one of them went in with a straight bar deadlift of 525 and was dying every week. I started workhorse right after I'd hit my trap bar goal of 600-pound deadlift, and I was dying every week. Just to give you an idea of the level of advancement we're talking about. We weren't ready, and we were at those numbers. It's a hard program, and it's different than anyone here has ever trained. I guarantee you that. Like, I'm looking because I'm in a deload right now to start it next week. Day one is you do deadlifts at, I think, 60%, 10 deadlifts, 60%, immediately into 20 V-ups. Immediately.
I'll read it to them.
Oh, yeah, read it to them because I want them to understand.
So it's 9 weeks. They wanted 12 weeks, but this workout's kind of a sprint. It is so very taxing to do. That's why the auto regulation and being able to understand the effort with percentage-based training is a very big factor. So it's a giant set format. What that means is, say you have your squats, there's also other movements that go in with the squat. So day one is a deadlift day, and it's hypertrophy focused. There's volume. So it's 10 deadlifts at 60%. You finish your last deadlift, you do your 20 V sit-ups. You finish your 20 V sit-ups, you do your 10 kettlebell swings. Then it's your rest. It's 90 seconds. From that set, you go to 8 deadlifts at 70, 20 V sit-ups, 10 kettlebell swings, 90 seconds rest. From that set, you go to set 3. Every set, top set, third set, is an AMRAP set. Now, the limiting factor is going to be due to the percentage-based effort. You're only going to have so many reps in the tank. This top set is as many reps as possible at 80%. Goal is at least 6, 20 V sit-ups, 10 kettlebell swings, 90 seconds rest. Then it goes into the assistance, which is 3 rounds, complete all movements, then rest 90 seconds. 12 stiff leg deadlifts, 10 pen lay rows, as heavy as possible, 20 V sit-ups, 90 seconds rest. Do that for 2 more rounds. Then it's the conditioning. AMRAP, as many rounds as possible in 10 minutes. 5 burpee box jumps with 7 barbell cleans. So you have 10 minutes to get as many rounds as possible of those 2 movements. That's day one.
I have a question. Catch, did you hurl by the time? Did you?
No, I never threw up.
Okay.
But all of us talked about this because all of us were, obviously, we were starting out as pretty strong. In the app, all of us would be in the very advanced category. None of us had ever trained this way, where all of us had 500, 600-pound deadlifts, but none of us had done it where you superset it or giant set it with 2 other exercises and then only rest 90 seconds. We're used to, at the heavier weights, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then do it again heavier. You're always going up in set 2 and set 3. So this is what Nick calls like building your work capacity or your engine. By about week 4 or 5, all of us kind of had caught up.
Yeah.
But until then, we were dying, and we would literally send each other videos on the thread with Nick coming inside after the workouts and like squeezing the sweat out of our shirts onto the ground. Because this is not something where someone wants to say, hey, I feel pretty strong. I just hit a 200-pound deadlift PR. I'm going to do this program. You're probably going to end up injured.
And this is how I learned.
Probably women who've hit a 200-pound PR could do it.
This is what built my motor for the sport. Was some of my earliest training under Brian Algeru. This style of training. Now this is a variation of the program that I ran that won me my basically pro card, the amateur national title. And this set my foundation for my strength and my work capacity to work in conjunction, to be able to keep going. So when I got to things like conjugate and anaconda, Norwegian method, and all these other high volume stuff or high effort things, I had this already kick in the dick so early on that mentally I was ready to receive and understand the percentage based training, RPE. RPE is a whole different animal because it's even more auto regulation because there's no effort number prescribed outside of, hey, these working sets need to be an 8 out of 10. Your top set needs to be a 9.9 to 9.5 out of 10. To know that requires an even, I don't even program RPE unless it's like my advanced athletes because I don't necessarily trust them. Whereas percentage bases, you got to know where you're at. And if you inflate those numbers, I promise you by week 2, you're going to be fucked. You're going to be so behind the curve on workhorse that if you inflate those numbers, it's going to have you so ran in the ground, you're going to be screaming for a deload. So that's why I say percentage is a guide. If you see 70% and 65 is moving like 75, you're working at that 65 to 60% range that day. That's where the auto regulation comes in. That's why another reason, arguably more important than the movement index, is being able to auto regulate through this and understand the guide. Because if for you overthinkers out there, if you're like, oh, I'm not hitting 70%, I'm doing it wrong, blah, 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 I was only 6%. No. It's an effort guide, much like first set mindset. It's an effort guide. So you guys are working out in a realm of progress. We don't want you spinning your wheels. We don't want you spending 12 weeks on a program working in that, 4 or 5 reps in the tank, and you're like, oh, I'm plateaued. Well, no shit. So that's where this really pushes. That's why you're ending with that AMRAP. It's power on demand. It's power under fatigue. Perfect world is, I don't think in realms of a perfect world, and I don't want anybody else to either, because training is not a perfect world activity. Training has so many variables on a day-to-day basis: sleep, nutrition, work. I was a blue-collar guy. I was prepping for World's Strongest Man while I spent 12 hours on top of steel, 300 foot up in the air, receiving 20,000 pound steel beams from cranes, driving 2 hours home from these, going to work or going to work out, getting home, having about 30 minutes to myself before it's time to get in bed because I had a 3 a.m. wake up. So like, that's a huge variable because it draws so much physical bandwidth and mental bandwidth out of what I would have in the tank for training, that my numbers were so deflated because my effort was so high all the time. So when it comes to this percentage-based training and your individual variables on a day-to-day basis, it's very important to understand how it's supposed to work. Because if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go above, the only time the meter needs to move to the right, and Ketchen asked me this question yesterday, is if he's doing, because there are 90% AMRAP sets where the goal is at least 2. If he's hitting a 90% AMRAP set and he's getting 4 or 5 reps at a minimum, I know he's overcooked. So what we will then do is I will go, okay, let's say, I don't know his numbers off the back of my head, but say it's on squats. Say he's like, my PR on paper is 200. Okay, so let's make it 225, and we will set that scale back to adjust to make those percentages more adequate for what you need versus having to overshoot everything. And it makes more sense on paper because realistically, what that tells me is that he's a little overcooked. He is a little bit stronger since he made that PR, that we need to add a little bit more tonnage to the overall plan for him to hit the targets that he needs to hit and the target effort. And I know I just fed you guys with a fire hose, but the reason is I don't want someone going in and getting hurt. That's why I'm so hard-nosed on this, is I don't do it to scare you. I don't want to see someone get hurt when it could have been completely avoided. And I know, without a doubt, there's going to be some people that go, I'm advanced, I'm blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, fuck around and find out then. So,
yeah, and just so everyone knows, when these programs come out, we're shooting for August 10th. We're going to have a few new programs come out at the same time, and we're going to try something new, partially because we know something like Workhorse requires higher touch from coaches. But we're going to try something where everybody in the app is running a program live, essentially leading people
Michael
through
said,
it.
"Yeah, my 76th birthday."
I like it. But we're going to so I'll be leading a group of people that are going through Workhorse together when you guys who do choose to do it the first time. So I'll be doing it alongside you, and you can ask questions. We're looking at streaming these. Adam hates that. He's going to do another new program that he's designing right now, a hybrid foundation that builds in cardio. I think Jen's going to stream one of our foundation programs. Nick might even.
I traded a Boland. I don't know how I'm going to stream anything.
Well, you might lead people in your own way. So yeah, if you're interested in doing it and you feel like you're advanced enough, I'll be there to do it with you and suffer.
With that being said, I don't want this program is knowingly not for everyone. I don't want you to think that I think or any of these coaches think any lesser for you if that's not something you ever do, want to do, or anything. It has a place. It has a purpose. If it doesn't align with where you're at or where you're going, that is totally fine. Again, I've coached everything from top tier, top of the world athlete, calling Martine's jumps at World's Strongest Man on his log, to 80-year-old grandma that just wants to be able to walk her dog pain-free. Like, this is not a reflection necessarily of
badassery.
Yeah, it's there for the people that's where they want to go, and it's just in the app for those that people that don't and might just be curious and want to look at it. That's fine. And they go, well, absolutely not. That ain't for me. That is totally okay. It is not for everyone, and I knowingly made it just for the people that wanted more, that are ready for more, so people aren't left wanting. That's it. If it's not for you, it's okay. With that being said, any questions? I see Jen just popped in. I see her in the comment section.
Hi.
Julianna, hit me.
Hello. So this might be a silly question, especially after what we've just been talking about. Is there such a thing as going too high for step ups?
Yeah, range of motion, and so there's degrees of step ups, as you know. I did, depending on purpose and without getting into the weeds. What are you concerned about with your getting too high?
So I did the foundation twice, but it was body weight, and I invested in like a little kind of step for the home. That was one of those that you can like flick the feet out and make it taller and stuff. And that was like, my leg wasn't quite at a right angle, if that makes sense. So it was maybe like a little too easy. The gym I'm at currently, I'm doing it on the same bench that I would sort of like bench press on and stuff. And I'm finding it's like quite a high step up. And I don't know if I need to maybe just go a bit lower on the weight, or I feel a bit unsteady basically doing it. But I'm quite clumsy anyway, so I don't know if it's
So
just
it's a
that.
little bit past that hard 90.
Yes, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but with height, weight compensates. One thing you can really focus on with those step ups especially with like joint health and stuff, is focusing on the eccentric. I'm not going to actually do it because this chair not only spins, it rolls. So that's a highlight reel waiting to happen. So as you see, this is like almost my perfect 90.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really go above that for me personally, because what I'm trying to get out of it, it doesn't necessarily suit me unless I'm working on some sort of weakness or mobility. But it's okay that you do, as long as you don't need to be doing step ups like this is my desk. You're not gonna do a step up where your knees in your chest. But I typically have people work within the realm of that 90-degree or slightly past it to get a nice long range of motion. Or for me, if you're going to do a shallower step up, compensate with a heavier weight. I have 6-inch step ups. Like if I know I have a super heavy yoke carry, I'm going to do step ups with a barbell on my back with 300 plus pounds. It gets that extreme, but there's an intention and a purpose. So with yours, what are you looking for out of your step up? We're looking for range of motion, control, gaining strength, gaining stability. So your weight to make it work within, I would say going too low is probably more of a concern than going too high, because your range of motion is going to tell you whether it's too high or not. You'd be like, this is uncomfortable. Whereas too low, it's going to be like, this is way too easy, even with all the weight I have. So, I would say anywhere between that, like, if I were to visually give a reference, anywhere between here and here is fine. Here more weight, here less weight. Add some tempo, and realistically, that back foot that's on the ground, use as little help with it as possible.
Okay.
So a lot of people really drive into it with that back foot to kind of launch them off up. Try and drive into it less. If you're working slightly past that 90, it's one of my benches is that, and I do step ups on that too, just like that. So that is totally a valid thing. You're just going to have to compensate with weight and tempo. So you're not just slamming back down. So you're controlling it as long as possible till you can drop into that back foot so you don't roll an ankle or whatever.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? You've got both coaches and Catch in here right now. So now is your chance.
How many days a week for workforce? Just to know.
It is a 4-day split.
Okay. Thinking about it.
Yep, it covers overhead, benching, squat, and deadlift, and it covers variations within those. So, yeah, and the implements realistically are going to be up to your choice. So, like, if you want to squat with a safety squat bar, fine. If you want deadlift and axle, fine. We've had people ask about competing in strongman. While maximize your strength is also a great place to prep you. This gives you the work capacity element to actually prep with a, we've had one guy at member, the firefighter, kind of run through this as well and has enjoyed it because he does compete actively in strongman. And
Nick, do you think someone who's competing it because it's so popular now in like high rocks at a high level, this would improve them, right?
Yeah, I mean, high rocks is all work capacity. It's the same handful of movements. I mean, you're just gonna need to run.
Yeah.
To get better at running, not that you're gonna need extra work.
Running.
Do we know anyone competing in high rocks?
I've seen someone talk about it in the comments before.
Nerd.
We don't judge anyone's chosen competitions here.
Yep.
Really quick, because Exxon's asking me right now. Everyone can see how we work. What are the ideal days for the program? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
It's your split, so there is some variation. So I typically ran this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. You want rest in between, either before or after. If your work week or whatever, it's more conducive for you to go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that's fine, but you're going to need some sort of rest, either front loaded or back loaded, to alternate training and rest day. Because if you try and run this back to back to back to back, good luck.
Okay, I'll tell him Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday is ideal.
So you're putting it in the middle.
Oh, wait. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that works for me because I could do like maybe Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Again, if your schedule like perfect. If that's your schedule, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. As long as you maintain that stagger, whether you front load the back-to-back workout, mid load the back-to-back workout, or end load back-to-back workout, you need the same amount of rest throughout the week. Where you put that rest is going to depend on you. So yeah.
Question, Coach.
And go ahead, Jen.
So for me, when I do my foundation programs, my schedule's unflexible and my workouts kind of slide down. So maybe what would take me normally 7 days to finish takes me 9 days. With Workhorse, do you want those 4 workouts happening in a week's time with no exception? Or can they slide a little?
It's if you slide them a little, here's why I wouldn't slide them, because the accumulative fatigue is very high.
Yep.
So it's not going to clear you if you deviate and bring 1 week closer to the next. But if you don't have a hard 9 weeks and say you do it in let's say a linear schedule, say you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. If you just go through it where days of the week don't fucking matter, fine.
Okay.
But if you're bunching up, spreading it out, bunching it up, it's just going to run you into the ground.
Exactly. Okay, that's it.
So rule for everyone, extra rest over what you see in the app, okay. Less rest, not okay.
Yeah, that's just it's just you're gonna go through the undulation, and then you're just gonna gradually trend down and down, because it's not gonna give you a break to without extra rest.
Well, yeah. And I just was thinking with your very specific example about like being an iron worker and like the way that depleted you, not just physically, but mentally. It's like this is a program where you want people really showing up ready to like cut their teeth, right? So it's like you want that if they need the extra day, take it so they can really hit it the next.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just if you're gonna trend with the more rest, you've got to keep that going through the rest of the program to really kind of playing. You're not catching up. It'll just compound, and then you'll have a really hard downswing at some point where things are just really starting to accumulate. And that's why I said you either maintain or you disregard days of the week and just train, rest, train, rest, train, rest, train, rest, train, rest.
So it sounds like, something like this is one of the things where you have to be honest with your own commitment throughout to make it happen. I mean, case in point, like I've been through a advanced foundation once, and I'm back to intermediate because other things keep coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing I found in the advanced is you need to like make that your priority in life. And if you're not in a position to do that, then you need to keep working up to it and finding the roadmap there before you pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I'm on a conjugate block right now, and I don't run those unless like I know it's not my body, it's here. I've got to be checked in, and having that want to train again, seriously, to run something like conjugate or workhorse, or else like I'll get 2 weeks in and I'll be like, I'm having a lot of internal argument, and so it's something. There's a mental bandwidth that is real with training, especially when it comes to training like this, because I'll say this, the highest frequency of my injury is on warm-ups and light reps where I wasn't clicked in. I was doing it, getting through it to get to my working set, and then I missed the cue or something and had a hard explosive input and wasn't prepared. And there's a mental draw when it comes to really being locked in. And it's synonymous with, if that cheat meal is in your nutrition plan, eat that cheat meal, because that is a regulatory thing for mental bandwidth. It's not going to derail your progress. So it's the same, it's the bird of a feather that goes into the actual training. Is you're either in a spot where training like this, you're mentally ready, or you're not. Because if you're not and you really aren't honest with your inputs, there's no point.
Yeah, and I think
long-range goal.
And Pete, I think you're right. It's kind of that way with pretty much any advanced program in the app, because I know there are a lot of people, especially at the kind of beginner and intermediate level, who will get going and then take a month and they don't do any training and then they come back to it. But if you do that in our advanced programs, the way they're designed, you can't come back after a month where you're in phase 4 and you're at the highest volume point of a program. Like, you really can't. It's past you. And at that point, if you're a month off in an advanced program, I tell people you just got to restart the program. Because programs build to whatever you're doing.
I can say I completed an advanced program, but I damn sure didn't optimize it. I got through it. And, so, being honest about it. So.
Yeah, but you know what, Pete, that's good information too. Like, you guys are always collecting data about your workflow, about the mental bandwidth, about the season of your life. So it's not a bad thing. It's actually really cool that you're being honest about it, Pete. You're like, yeah, I did it, but I didn't do it the way I deserved, that I wanted to go. And maybe you want to take another shot. Like, that's what we're doing. This is not, again, we talk about no finish lines. You're learning a lot about yourself. This is cool.
I'll hit it again, but I'll hit it with both feet next time and knock it out of the park. So
love it.
That's the attitude.
Roscoe, hit me.
Yeah, Nick, I'm doing a lot of work outside. I had a storm hit the property. I don't know if you got hit with that July 4th storm, but it hit my property pretty good. So I'm doing a lot of work outside. It's hot. I'm losing energy. I'm helping my parents. My mom just got a knee surgery and my dad needed work done on his house. So I'm more fatigued than usual because of the heat, all the work I'm doing outside. Do I work out early in the morning and then I'm tired when I need to get work done? Or do I wait till after when I'm exhausted from the day? Or what's the best plan here? I'm trying to stay hydrated.
What is most likely going to get you in and do the workout?
The morning.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
Simple. It's that simple.
Yeah.
That's why I train. I train when I train, because that's when, like, I know mentally I've got the most up here to really be invested and paying attention. Also, typically when I compete, those are the times of days when I'm competing. So I try to make everything on multiple fronts line up. Now, yes, there are days where I've gone in at 9 o'clock. I'm like, fuck. And that's where discipline comes in. But maintaining your majority training schedule around the time where you're most likely to do it and do it well is the best option.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't let it affect the other priorities I need to get done. So recovery is really important. I'm staying with the creatine, the protein, the fiber, all that kind of stuff. But the hydration, just looking for ways to stay on top of everything all at once.
Yeah, especially, like, remember, keep getting, like, if you've got an abnormal amount of output, especially with the heat, like, your salts, your magnesiums, potassiums. They're all very important with the hydration stuff. And then and snacks, like for real snacks, those quick little carbs and protein, keeping that going in the realm of, your goal. People, I'm trying to lose weight. This is good. I'll eat less and do more, and then they sputter out because you haven't matched fuel with output.
Yeah, I'm definitely losing weight.
And you're in Maryland, like Westminster. We were the hottest place in the country around that 4th of July weekend. We were well into the 100s with the humidity and stuff, and you know how heavy this air gets here. And arguably you're a little worse off because you're down in a more populated area. There's more blacktop. There's more stuff radiating heat, whereas I'm out here in the boonies. So it might even be a little bit more intense for you than for me.
Yeah, yeah. And my nights are being at coaching 2 girls softball teams. I'm at games twice a week and practices 4 hours at a time because, I have 1 2-hour right before the next 2-hour practice. So it's exhausting, but because I've been in the pump, I'm much more better shape to do this. So I feel good about that.
You're equipped.
I'm equipped.
Yes, sir.
Thanks to the pump.
Right on.
Have you guys ever taken groups into gyms for strength training?
It's funny you should ask. Like where I train?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to.
Okay.
We used to be a fully open private gym. We'd have a 9 a.m. slot, and then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. was open gym, and then we had a 5 o'clock class and a 6:15 class. So what happened with that was the guy that owns the property, he built his forever home on the farm. They tore down the old house. Come to find out, it was one of the first houses built in the county, dated back to early 1700s. It was a wormy chestnut cabin. They harvested the wormy chestnut because that's kind of like gold because that tree's extinct. And he used some of those beams and integrated them in the new house. He built his forever home there. So he also does a side gig. He sold his business, still manages it. But he does a side gig restoring old cars, old motorcycles. He's got like IROC Z's in there. He's got Chevelles. He's got the hull of a Nova in there right now. He's working on transmissions. And the 60 by 4, our building's an L-shaped. The 60 by 40 lane he converted into his restoration space. So we have the original side, the 50 by 30, that is now, it's like the 10 founding members that train out of there. So we no longer do the group stuff anymore because it is where someone lives and he doesn't want people just coming and going, people that he doesn't know. And he helps friends out. Like you'll see broken down cars there. He fixes their shit, gets it back to them. So it's that's the main thing is why we don't do it that because that space is kind of morphed since COVID is when he sold his business and decided he's in his late 50s. So he just doesn't want strangers there. And I respect it. But he left the door open to the people, to us, the founding members, people he trusts. There's a code. It doesn't matter if I come at midnight to him or if I come at 5 o'clock in the morning. We all pitch in, we all clean, we all give him some money at the beginning of winter for the heat in the barn. So it's a very private space now. Someone lives on the property, him and his family. So no, we do not do any sort of group stuff there anymore.
Okay.
If we did, I would happily open the doors to a pump club meetup right here in my home gym, because big open fields, we can do whatever we want. But yes,
I'd bring my softball team.
Right on. Any other questions, guys, before we close this down? Going once, going twice. Sold. Well, all right, Jen, thank you for popping in. Catch, thanks for sitting through it and and chiming in as well. And everyone who submitted, as long as you guys keep showing up, I will too, like I always say. So I gave some of you guys some homework, and I will catch you on the next one.
Awesome. Thank
See
you.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.